MRS TV is here with someone very important, 2022 MRS President Carolyn Duran. Carolyn, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we spoke to you a year ago when your presidency was just beginning, and now that you're wrapping up this past year, what are some of the advances that MRS has made in this past year?
Thank you for asking that. I think one of the biggest things that I'm most excited about is the coming back to in-person meetings. The second is we got a new editor-in-chief of the JMR, so Ramesh, and having him on board and some of the changes that the whole leadership team with respect to the journals and driving the journals forward as we've established the nice relationship with Springer Nature has been really exciting as well.
And when we talk about MRS, how do you feel that societies like MRS can fill a role with industrial members moving forward?
That's a really good question, and it's something I think that we're still working on and trying to grow. A lot of the membership are students and academics and national labs. We've been brainstorming things like speed mentoring, and if you're coming and deciding whether you want to be in industry or academia, can you learn from junior members of industry? And then that for industry, the benefit is having the researchers here. The cross-disciplinary part of MRS is really compelling. We hire material scientists, but we also hire applied physicists and chemists and all the different things. So I think that's a place where we can really stretch and grow.
So MRS has been around for 49 years. It's about to celebrate 50 years. Can you give us a preview of what's kind of in store for this 50th anniversary?
Yes, we have a lot planned. So I'm super excited. It's just a little younger than me, but coming back to San Francisco after our hiatus in different regions, that's super exciting for us. I'm also really excited about some of the things we're doing, where we're doing batches, like through the years, just to understand and learn. And I've personally been reading up on some of the early days of MRS and how we've changed and grown as a society. The third thing is we've really advanced in our diversity and inclusion efforts. And so you'll see a big focus next year as well as part of the 50th anniversary, just continuing to accelerate, hopefully, the means with we engage across the world in different demographics.
So building on that, where do you see MRS going in the future, and what advice would you have for the incoming president?
For Sabrina, enjoy that 50th anniversary for sure, and she is absolutely dedicated to diversity and inclusion, so I know she's going to really provide that focus and help the society move forward. It's one thing. The second thing is understanding and dealing with the in-person and virtual, and how can we, between meetings, continue those dialogues and discussions and collaborations so that it's not a pop in the spring and a pop in the fall, but it's a steady state of learning opportunities for our membership.
All right. Well, Carolyn Duran, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for your service as the MRS president for the past year.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.